Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Assalamu alaikum. Welcome back. And it is our final interview for the morning right here on News and Views. And it gives me great pleasure to introduce to you this morning an amazing young lady. She, as I've explained earlier on, that we here at Salaamedia have introduced a series of Women's Month ambassadors. She is one of those. She is our guest presenter today. Her name is Jo'Hara Hassem. She is an emotional wellness coach and master NLP practitioner, and of course, a media personality and co founder of Heal for Hope. She will be in studio today at 11 o'clock to talk to us this morning, being our Women's Month ambassador, and undoubtedly, she's going to be bringing a jam-packed program to one and all, inshallah. She's online to talk with me this morning. Assalamu alaikum, dearest sister. Welcome to the program, and so lovely to talk with you this morning.
Wa alaikum assalam, Auntie Julie. It's so great to be here.
Okay, so I mean, you have so much to offer. You're quite young, and but despite that, you've achieved a lot. You have gone on and you've done the NLP course. You are a master NLP practitioner. You're also co-founder of Heal for Hope. So, putting on those two hats this morning, what are you bringing to the program?
Well, that's exactly what I'm bringing to you. When Ponti gave me this opportunity, I wanted to go to the root of what my work is about, which is inclusion, support, emotional health, and really just bringing this to the listeners. So I do, like Auntie Julie mentioned, have a jam-packed show in store for the listeners, centering around the very essence of the work that I do. And I'm so grateful and humbled to be able to merge my two loves, which is media and emotional health and emotional well-being, to have put together the show that centers around just that. So I have guests that are working on the field of mental health and emotional wellness, people that are going to explain the somatic approach and what happens within our body when we experience all kinds of traumas, big traumas and little traumas. And then we'll conclude with our spiritual aspect, because really we are not just physical or emotional beings, we are spiritual beings as well. So to look for a holistic approach to our emotional and our mental health is fundamental. So we'll conclude by looking at how we can connect with our creator and establish a deeper, more spiritual connection with the Quran in terms of our healing, inshallah.
Alhamdulillah, sounds absolutely fascinating. So tell us about this organization you have co-founded called Heal for Hope. What is that all about?
It's a very dear labor of love for me, and it was inspired by a very um, personal growth between my husband and I. My husband and I found ourselves trapped in an abusive cycle in our marriage, and what was really profound for us was that mainstream media has a way of projecting violence and domestic abuse in a very particular way, very brutal. But that isn't always what domestic abuse looks like. Sometimes it's subtle, sometimes it takes on the form of emotional abuse, it takes on the form of financial abuse, and sometimes it can get physical and it can get violent, but not always to the extent where there's bloody eyes and swollen lips. But abuse is abuse. And when we realized that we were trapped in the cycle, we weren't going to perpetuate it anymore. We wanted to break the cycle for the sake of our children and also for the sake of ourselves. There's deep love, deep admiration, and respect between the two of us. We just lacked skills, essentially. And this, although our foundation is relatively young, Our healing journey has been ongoing for many years. So we took inspiration from our own personal journey and the tools and the resources that were really valuable and helpful for us. And we put it together in the form of a 12-step program. And we offer it to people, couples, especially perpetrators of domestic abuse, because what we've realized is that there is ample support for victims of domestic abuse, but very little support and engagement for the perpetrators. Now, when we look at perpetrators, we think of there's two kinds of perpetrators of domestic violence. There's the type that the narcissist kind that has no remorse and offers no sympathy. And there's the kind who desperately believes that what they're doing is wrong, but doesn't have the emotional support or doesn't understand where their violent behavior or abusive behavior stems from. And that is the group of people that we are committed to working with and to offering support for, because, and families, because we find so often that men, and not only men, women as well, that are perpetrators of domestic abuse, they are not there's something so deep rooted within them. There's hurt, there's abandonment, there's pain, there's shame, and that is what we want to bring out to the surface so that we can rectify the root issues and work on ultimately breaking the cycle of abuse entirely.
Mashallah, that is so deep, so beautiful. And I feel so privileged that you've shared something so very personal with me, because oftentimes people who are in these type of relationships, which involves domestic violence or GBV issues, they too shameful to own up to it, to talk about it. They'll make excuses, they'll cover up, cover up, cover up. And what that does is they don't allow for healing, they don't allow openness for support, and they just get themselves into a deeper and a darker hole of ongoing abuse. So I do value that indeed very, very much. You talk about a 12-step program that you offer to couples and very especially to the perpetrators. I must say that last week I spoke to a group, a male dominated group that work with perpetrators. And this is the very question I put to them. I said, it's fine. It is Women's Month. We all go on about stop GBV, and mainly GBV against women. And there are all sorts of support groups. But what are we doing about the perpetrators? They are the people that need the support. They are the people that need the help. They are the people that need to change their behavior. So, really, Alhamdulillah for introducing this. If people listening into you and I this morning recognize that they are perpetrators, or recognize that somebody they know who needs this type of help, how do they access this help through you and your foundation, Heal for Hope?
They can reach us on Instagram at Heal for Hope, or they can email us, healforhope@gmail.com. We're quite responsive. I can share a telephone number as well, which is our direct Heal for Hope number, which is 0823878793. That's our direct Heal for Hope number. All our sessions are confidential. And like Auntie Julie mentioned, there is the shame and the stigma that's associated with abuse that really prevents victims from getting the relevant and necessary help that they need. But the shame is amplified and magnified when it comes to the perpetrators. So when we engage with these perpetrators, and when we engage with these couples, we are so nurturing, and we provide such a safe space that revealing their subconscious beliefs and behaviors is done in a very delicate and loving and nurturing way, because we don't want to create that cycle of shame, which is exactly what prevents people from reaching out for help to begin with.
Alhamdulillah for that. So you say it's a 12-step program. Does that then indicate that the therapy sessions would probably go over 12 sessions, or is this something that can be addressed in a shorter space of time?
So, Auntie Julie, Like I tell all of my clients, not just my Heal for Hope support group members, the the hard work is always done between sessions and after the sessions. What we cover, we offer the tools and we offer that support, but the real work is always behind closed doors. It's implementing the tools that you've learned. So yes, we cover a lot in 12 steps, and whether that happens over 12 weeks or over 12 months, we cover a great deal. But the onus is on the people who have reached out for this support and for this help to really implement the tools, to put it into practice, and to make it work for them, because everything is adaptable. It's all about self-awareness. It's about revealing the core needs of ourselves, whether it's a need of safety, whether it's a need of being seen, whether it's a need of love, whatever that core need is. It's about understanding that need and tending to that need in the most elevated and nurturing way possible. Because when we exercise acts of violence, it's because one of those fundamental needs are not being met. And when
Absolutely.
we can understand what that need is and tend to it in a very wholesome way, inshallah, we can really work at the core of domestic violence.
Right at the beginning of the discussion, you indicated that perpetrators of violence are not necessarily only males, but we do know that a large majority of them, possibly 99 or 95%, are male and the balance being female. How about male perpetrators who want to go on a journey of healing, but you are aware we live in a very patriarchal society, but would prefer to interact with a male counselor? Do you, how do you then offer that type of a service? And is this face to face or is it done online?
We do our sessions completely online, and my husband and I run it together. He
Ah,
is not in the emotional healing space, but when you think of the nature of a support group, there are cancer survivor support groups, there are hijab support groups, there are support groups for pretty much anything. And the support comes from people who have been there. And I may have my professional offerings and my niche, but my husband has a unique insight because we've both grown from a very destructive and unhealthy relationship dynamic to what we are trying to work to a very secure and nurturing relationship. So that's why we offer it together. And so often I get calls and I get messages, please, can I have your husband's number? Can he counsel my husband or my brother? I'm like, my husband is not a counselor. He is not a life coach or a psychologist, but he's also passionate about this because we've seen how great these healing tools and these healing modalities have been in our lives, how transformational they've been for our children. So we want to bring it out there and do it as a team. We've been through all of the pain together as a team, and now we want to offer this healing to people as a team as well.
Alhamdulillah, undoubtedly, I'm sure, is something that is in demand in our community. And may you continue healing yourselves and other young people in our community. Very, very quickly, who are your guests on the show today?
Oh, I'm so excited. I have Sumaya Dowji and Nadia Valley who will be sharing with us what's really happening on the ground in terms of emotional health, social support. Then I have a lady by the name of Penny who is the founder of a support group for narcissist abuse victims called Narcissist Abuse Support Group, NASG. She is my second guest. Then I have Naira Abid, who is a TRE facilitator, an emotional wellness coach, and a heart math coach. She's going to be unpacking what happens within our body when we experience trauma. And my final guest is Dilnawaz Sainwala, who is, wow, she is a mama of five who wears so many hats. And among them are the hat of Islamic psychology. So she's going to bring in the aspect of our spiritual health and how we can connect more deeply with our Creator.
Sounds absolutely not to be missed. Inshallah, I'll try and get the podcast and listen in and look forward to meeting you at the Salaamedia Women's Day function, which is, I think, on the 4th of September.
On the
So
1st
I'm
of September.
I look
Yeah.
forward to that. You go well. Much love, salams and duas. Till the next time, as always, salaam alaikum to you.
Wa alaikum assalam.
It is exactly 1 after 10. Please stand by for the juice of the day. It is juice 23 by Mishari Rashid Al Afasi. Do hope you'll enjoy that. Undoubtedly, it will be very spiritually uplifting. And time for me to sign off. A big thank you to the production team. That's you, Tolani and Nasreen Naidu. Till tomorrow morning at the same time as always. Assalamu alaikum and Khuda Hafiz from me, Julie Ali.